You learned the camera at the church. You didn't know anything about that
Nothing.
before.
Nothing.
Trial and error, huh?
Yeah, and she's still learning.
That's
and
right.
we all learn.
Because they come out with so much stuff every 15 minutes, it seems. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready?
Okay.
Okay. Today is 8/12/15. My name is Ratibu Jaycox, and I'm interviewing Artelea Burgess for the Archiving Black History Project in the Inland Empire. Now, will you spell your your name, complete name for me, for the record?
Okay.
And if you look at the camera.
Artelea is Artelea. Last name Burgess, Burgess.
Okay. And thank you so much for this interview. I really appreciate interviewing you. I'll tell you, let's start with something that we have been talking about for the last few years, and that is your spirituality or your relationship with Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me how that came about?
Well, how it came about, Ratibu, is I start searching, trying to get answers to the Bible. Not what someone was just preaching about, but a true study of the Bible. And I had gone to several churches and would ask, when do we have Bible study? But when I go back for Bible study, it never ended with the Bible. You know, maybe different other things was discussed or whatever, and something, I guess, like prayer service, but it never was a study of the Bible.
Deep study in the Bible.
I wanted to study the Bible. I wanted to know what the Bible was about. And I didn't get that, you know.
So
sorry
what
to
made
say.
you want to know that? What
Because-
was the first spot that got your attention in that direction? 'Cause that's a transformation
Yes.
for you and for most people.
Yeah.
And a revelation, transformation, and not only that, but it's a life-changing activity. So what got the spark? What's the first spark?
The spark was the fact that, you know, as we get older, you know, we want to dig deeper into what we're about.
Right.
You know, what does life really mean to us?
Mm-hmm.
And so and through the Bible, this is where we supposed to be able to get what we need or what a spirituality is supposed to be about.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to study the Bible to see what I am supposed to do, how I'm supposed to feel, how I'm supposed to treat people, how I'm supposed to serve God and be a follower of Jesus Christ. So, and several times I've been doing several people's hair that was from Jehovah's, the hall, and one young lady asked me,
Oh, you went there doing your search, or
No.
No, oh,
No.
you hadn't gone there.
I hadn't gone there, but I had
Okay.
been to several other churches, and a friend of mine, that I've been doing her family's hair for years, and I was doing her husband's hair, and she asked me, Artelea, would you like to, you know, study the Bible? Which they have been coming by. We know how Jehovah's
Yeah,
Witnesses.
they come by.
We come by and knock
They
on your
come
door.
by.
And I attempted to have a Bible study several times, but, you know, it ended up maybe I wasn't there or whatever. But when this young lady, and I was comfortable with her, so I told her, I said, okay, I said, but listen, are we going to study the Bible? She says, yeah. I said, I don't want to do the getting on my knees and praying and all that.
You want to study the Bible.
I want to study the Bible. She said, that's what we'll do. And sure enough, some of the questions that I had been thinking about for years, even when my father was a Baptist deacon, and sometimes I would ask him questions, and it would almost be like a debate to me, because it was a logical question, but he told me that, well, that's not for us to know. But to me, if God wrote it, I'm supposed to know it. But he wasn't able to explain it to me. So when I sit down and start studying with these people, the questions that I had in asking, they were able to answer it clearly.
Clear, you
Clear.
saw it.
From the Bible.
And so you studied for a while.
Oh, I studied for about 8 years before
Okay, so the process is you study for a while, then you joined, or what happened to make you now know that you, is that a ritual or anything?
It's a pure study of the Bible. You
Just
know, there's no ritual.
Okay.
There is a ritual. You study the Bible, you come to know God, you know His Son, and you know what you learn to know what you're supposed to do to be dedicated to them. You know, and that's what He tells us to do. In Matthew 28, 19 and 20, go therefore and make disciples of all nations.
Right.
And that's what I loved about it too, is because you don't have a particular race of people.
Right.
You have all people there.
People.
All people. And that's what He told us, Jesus told us to do. All nations and languages.
Well, how did you feel about going there? Because they knew you as a beautician, they may have known you as a mother, they may have known you as a business person, but they may not have known you as being spiritual too much.
Well,
But you never was. How do you feel with your new transformation, coming into it?
I feel that it's the truth.
Okay.
That's what we all look for, like, you know, in our relationship. You want the truth.
Right.
You don't want to be fooled, and it is your decision to become baptized and serve God and His Son, Jesus Christ. You know,
When you do it, when you do it, it's your decision.
It's my decision.
Nobody's making you. So the day you've been coming here.
No. You know, and that's one of the misconceptions of Jehovah's Witnesses. And you hear a lot of things, negative things,
Right.
but all they have to do is ask.
Right.
All you have to do is ask, and you can get the information. As a matter of fact, now you can go on the website and find out anything you want to know about Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right. So where were you born?
I was born in Idabelle, Oklahoma.
Idabelle. To who?
To my Jim Jones, to my father and mother.
His name was Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, and
your
she
mother?
was a Wyatt, a Reevy Wyatt, Reevy Mae Wyatt.
In Oklahoma?
Yeah, and they were married, and I was out of that relationship.
Oh, good. Okay. And then you grew up there, and then you didn't grow up in Oklahoma?
No,
Okay.
5 years old. Well, you know, everyone had to leave those places like that. You know, you was sharecroppers, and it wasn't a whole lot. And then some of them had it, but, you know, like most migrants, you're looking for a better life. And my father and mother came to California, and I think I stayed with my grandmother for about 6 months, maybe a year, and then they came back and got me.
So where did your father work or do when he got out to California? No, before then. He was a sharecropper in Oklahoma. And then when he came here, what did he do?
Well, he was also, we picked cotton. You know, a lot of people, we moved to Riverside here.
Oh, okay.
And so a lot of time, I remember him trying to do labor's work, but I know they went to Bakersfield. You know, there's a lot of cotton.
So he went around
Yeah,
migrant workers.
Yeah.
Like what the Mexicans are doing today?
Same thing.
How old is your father would be now? Is he alive? Or?
No.
Okay. How would
He's
it
gone.
be now?
He would be somewhere 95.
So he's around the World War II era.
He was born in 1915.
He's been 100 years then.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, 100 years old. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause this is 2015. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you moved to Riverside, and did you go to school there?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you go to elementary school there?
Mm-hmm. Elementary.
Middle school and high school?
No, went to elementary. We moved to West Riverside. That's where a lot of the
Riverdale?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in that area. And then we, you know, I went to junior high school there. And then at 13, we moved to Fontana.
Fontana?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fontana.
Mm-hmm.
Fontana. Now, was it North Fontana?
Yes, you wasn't going into the South Fontana.
I didn't think so, but I just want to make sure for the record.
You wasn't going in South Fontana.
Do you know the spot where you used to be, and then how it looks now compared to then?
You know where Costco is?
Uh-huh.
That area right
Right
there.
in there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, right there. They bought my father's old house to, now that's, what is it? South Highland. And they bought his house, and then right between between Citrus and Cherry is where we lived. My father and mother used to hunt when my dad was out of work. We'd have meat because they'd go hunting and shoot rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
what in that area, that country area.
Yeah.
You don't know that. Well, you hear
Lytle Creek area, all that.
Yeah. And even this North Rialto wasn't here.
That's right.
At that time.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember all that.
Yeah. So you were in school, and did you go to college?
No.
You didn't go to college.
No, I didn't.
When did you get the bug for business?
Struggling.
Why did you struggle?
Because I was limited in my education.
Okay.
You understand? So, and you go through life and silly at an early age, things go, make some decisions that's not so good, but you know that you have to survive.
Mm-hmm.
My mother and father wasn't big on coming from the South, and like my mother was from the nation of the Choctaw Indians.
Okay.
So therefore, they wasn't big on education. They didn't know how to teach you that you need to go to school. You need to have an education. They wasn't big on that. Those Indians were very docile. Mm-hmm. My grandmother was an Indian. My mother was born in the middle of a situation, so she was raised on the Indian reservation till she was, I think, 13 years old.
And was she total Indian, or did she have black in her?
She had black in her.
She had black in her. Mm-hmm. And then she married a man that had black in him, or was he native?
My dad was a mixture also.
Right.
And his family was all colors. From the same mother and father, but they were all colors. He was real dark. He had some sisters and brothers that was high yellow with these eyes and things, like that. All colors in his family.
In his family.
Yeah.
And then he birthed you. So you're out here now. Mm-hmm. You finished with school. You're trying to make a living. Mm-hmm. Did you have babies at that time?
Oh yeah.
You had children.
I had my first child at 17 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so, you don't know what to do and no one to really guide you, but, in my thing, how am I going to feed these kids?
And what did you do?
Well,
what's the first thing you did? I mean, as you thought that you're making money now, making a living, you got to take care of yourself. Your dad ain't going to take care of y'all. Mm-hmm.
Well, you go from little jobs, you do factory work, you do whatever you can to make a living, and as I say, time go on, and Bill, let me tell you, I didn't know. See, when I had those two babies, I didn't know anything about a welfare, so I was worried to death.
Right.
I didn't know anything about welfare.
No income
I didn't have any. When I had my second child, I didn't know that the welfare would give you money, and somebody told me, yeah, they'll give you money. I said, for free.
For free.
For free.
You don't have to work
for free. They give you money. And I went and applied. During that time, all you had to do is fill out one piece of paper. And you got, I think it was about $70-something.
A month.
A month, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But then
that
would work.
good?
That would work. I'm gonna survive off of that.
Okay.
I'm gonna do my best off that. And then you start learning, okay, after a while that's not gonna work, so you start working. And I always worked and received welfare because when I calculated my money, if I was working and on welfare, there was more money coming into the house. I wasn't like a lot of people that said, I'm not going to work because they'll cut my welfare check. I didn't understand that because when I did the math, that was more money coming into my household. So I'm going to go to work.
So then you really didn't report to the welfare, the money, extra money that you were making.
Yes.
You had sense enough
to do it. Yeah, you can't do that. You go to jail. You know? And as a matter of fact, I got in trouble.
You did get in trouble?
Yeah. And not that I cheated. I had worked. Then I worked for a month. And I got off welfare. Those people came back and told me that I had committed welfare fraud.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you have to pay money back?
Yeah.
You had to pay it back?
Yeah.
So did you ever get back on welfare?
I got back on welfare. That's what I didn't understand. You gonna give me a case for I got off welfare. I was off for about a year.
You were independent?
Independent, and they came and told
But
me.
did you have to go back on welfare?
Yes, I
after
went
that?
back on welfare.
Oh, you went back?
Because no problem.
Because they didn't want you to make this extra money.
I don't know. Yeah, and it was a month. It wasn't even a month, I think. But you know the sad part, what they told me, Bill. They said you need to be careful of your friends.
So with some of your,
one of my friends,
yeah, they may have been jealous of you.
Yeah.
And so when did you get into the hair business, or was that your first business?
The hair business was my first business, but I've always used the programs to benefit me. I wasn't afraid to ask if there's a program that I could do, and I went to school for nursing. I think a nursing attendant. I got a certificate in that. I went to school for computer programming. That's where I should have stayed, but I just didn't have.
You were good at it.
The teacher told me if he had given me a better recommendation, I could go to work for a computer program, a computer place. But I just didn't have that confidence.
You didn't?
I just didn't have the confidence.
Because...
I was studying programming now.
Oh, yeah.
Programming.
And that was what year?
That was in...
Was in
60, yeah,
yeah,
that was
that's
in...
early.
Like 70... 71. No, it was before then.
Yeah.
It was before then. Yeah. It was before then, in the 60s, late 60s.
So you didn't do that, and you started, now, I want to get into your business now. So when did you go into
hair
business?
I went to school in 1970.
And got a license?
Got my license. Came out, and I don't know if you remember Bob Andrew. I went to work for him. Then I went to Newbury. I worked for Bob for a year, and he decided he was going to close down. So I went to Newbury, worked with them for 4 years, and then
You had a chair right in. Were they in the same place they are now?
They were right around the corner. Remember how you walked over that little.
Where Artelea?
Yeah, right there, walked over there, and there was the little,
in the front more so than the side.
More so than around the corner. Yeah.
And that's where you were. And you gained experience in customer relationship there.
And you know what? That's probably the best thing that happened to me, because you learn from people. That's where I got my education, the desire to want more, to do more. People was really. I had friends that they encouraged me. You know, I said, and I asked Bob, that was the owner there, I said, why don't we do a little something else? Constantly, when he was worried about, well, maybe we shouldn't do that because then we have to charge people more. But that's okay.
Yeah.
They like that. When you find something, give them a little something they expect.
Right.
But he wasn't.
That wasn't his
mission,
vision.
Right. So, and then I went to business, took a class at Valley College, small business class. And that's where I learned location.
Right.
And the small things that you do to open a business. And what you have to do to give it a little spark to draw attention to your business. So my education is like, I went to get what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't go there to get a degree. I went there to get what I needed
to do.
To,
You sound like
right,
me.
That's right. Yeah,
So,
that's what I did.
So that's when you moved on Mount Vernon?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You moved on at that location?
You're right next door to the club.
To Jerry.
Everything was going on then.
Right.
You know, and I had a gentleman that came in to help me decorate the shop. And when I had the shop inspected, the gentleman that inspected the shop, he says, I inspect shops all over San Bernardino County. He said, and I've never seen a shop look like this.
You had the black and white floors, I think, when I met you. You didn't have those?
No, I had carpet. Just a little area where I cut hair was linoleum, and then the rest of the shop was a decorative color carpet, and it went up the wall, halfway up the wall, and then paneling from the rest of it. So
you were laid out.
It was just as cute as it could be.
You were first class. Well, what made people so attracted to you? This is a different subject. It's more emotional now.
Mm-hmm.
People, I mean, since I met you, I mean, I don't know people who are not attracted to you. What do you think draw people to you, to like you, and want to do for you and help you?
I think when you just be yourself. And I didn't try to pretend I knew more than anybody else, you know, because I was looking for information. You know, I needed information to help me move forward. And I just don't think, you treat people like you want to be treated. Mm-hmm. You don't try to make anyone look small. Matter of fact, you make them look bigger, and then they're going to help you more.
They'll help you more.
So you put all the attention. I find that when you ask questions concerning another person,
right,
you got them.
They open up.
They open up.
They want to help.
Yeah, they want to help.
And so you were able to receive that help.
Oh, yeah.
And use that help to further your financial needs for you and your family.
Yes.
And became a star.
I mean, I don't know, but I never looked at it like that, but it worked.
It worked for you.
It worked.
Right. So now you moved next door to Jerry. Things are happening right there on Mount Vernon. And what year was that?
I moved in there in 1976.
76. And Jerry had already been there for a while.
For about 3, 4, 5 years.
3 or 4 years. Because when I first moved here, I'm on my way to meet some people in Palm Springs, but I'm living in LA with my cousin. And it was so late, I stopped on Sierra Avenue and the 10, that Motel 6 or 5 or whatever is right there. And I asked some people, I say, when I wake up tomorrow and during the night, where do I go? And they mentioned 2 places. They mentioned if I wanted to stay in Fontana or Rialto or Edgewood, and if I wanted to come all the way down, I could go to Jerry's. And they gave me directions. And I saw both, but I didn't go in. And then later on, I moved out here, and I saw that. What was going on with Jerry's and that part of Mount Vernon when you moved there?
What was going on well, the money was good in San Bernardino.
Money was good. People were spending money.
You had Kaiser, you had Santa Fe. Yeah. You had what else? There was a third.
They were building Norton and
Norton. So you had
construction.
It was money. Yeah, construction was going on. Families had money in their pockets. Everybody was spending money.
They were spending money.
No, they were spending money.
And you got some of it.
I got some of it. I got some of it.
So you were.
If everything was going on in there.
What are some of the things that were?
Some of the things. The girls was walking the street.
Okay.
You know, I mean, let's face it. You know, that's anytime you have a popular club or whatever, that attracts.
The girls are making money.
I don't care where you go, they're gonna be there.
And they making some money.
They make money, yeah.
And then you did tell me about people who were selling things.
Yeah, selling.
Vendors.
You had a lot of people that had their little own businesses. They buy clothes, they get their license, and sell clothes out of the trunk of their cars.
Right.
And you had people, what was his name, that had the clothing store on Baseline there.
I don't know.
Oh gosh, I can't
Mina may know. But,
but you had people that little small things would make them a decent living.
right.
Yeah, because people had money.
And so you had hotels around there.
There was.
And so the girls
Yeah,
were
girls.
going into they were paying for the rooms. Would they come to you to get their hair?
Oh yeah.
To get their
Yeah,
hair?
not only the girls, the preachers, the
The
preachers'
pimps.
wives, and pimps, everyone
They
was
were
right
coming
there.
to you.
Yeah,
And what kind? So did you see yourself making a good living at that time?
I made a good living. I think I was making during that time, two people working in the family. I was making that kind of money. If they had a person, the wife and the husband working, I was one.
making both
I was
of
making
them.
both their salaries.
Wow. So how did that make you feel?
At the time, I didn't really know it when I was doing it, but I knew I was making money, but money didn't. It wasn't like, oh, you really doing things. You making this kind of money. I knew I was able to buy my kids what they needed. I was able to buy me but I've always bought homes, even through programs.
Right.
But I was able to buy a couple of homes at the same time,
Car.
and just live life. It was just, I didn't worry about anything.
Let me ask you this. Were you a boss lady? Sort of, because that's what I heard, that you ran things.
In that shop.
But not in the, not
No.
around that area.
No.
You weren't the boss
No,
of that.
no. But if a girl came out and she was standing on that corner and she would stop somebody from coming in that shop, I'd go to her and explain to her, I'm not concerned about your business,
Right.
but please do not stop anyone from coming into my
It's
shop
your business.
for making my money.
And they respected you for
we
that?
respected each other.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't go out there insulting anyone or anything like that. Those girls, for whatever reason, you do what you do. It's not my business to judge. Did Jesus judge? No. He told you what he thought you needed to know, but he wasn't judging.
Right.
And that's the attitude that you have to have. You don't know what those people are going through.
You don't know what they're going through.
You don't know what they're going through.
Right. So did you counsel with them?
Yeah, if they wanted
Did you
to
give
talk.
them any money?
Yes, if they needed money, yeah.
And did you make contact for them if they needed something else downtown or anything?
If I would tell them the best I could, go to so-and-so and do such and such a thing. That's
So
the
did
only
you
thing.
know Art Townsend at that time?
Oh, I loved Art Townsend.
But did he help some of these people?
I think he gave advice.
That's what I meant.
He gave advice, yeah.
Who were some of the other men?
People.
And women too, that could help people downtown.
Well,
and
you
different
talking
places.
about Francis's niece.
Right.
What's her name? She was a councilwoman.
Francis.
Niece or cousin.
Oh, you talking about Valerie?
Valerie Pope.
Yeah.
All these people, they were wonderful people. They didn't beat up anyone and try to judge anyone. If I give you some advice and you took it, that's good.
But you didn't try to embarrass them or change them even.
Well, you know what? You still can't change. I think the desire has to be theirs.
From within them.
You have to want the desire to change. You have to want something better. I know that's the way I was. Didn't anyone preach to me? Oh, you shouldn't do this or that. People, I had the desire to change, and they saw that, and they helped me. And that's what you do to people. It's not your business what they're.
So if I understand correctly, as people helped you,
Mm-hmm.
you helped others.
You have to.
And did you feel obligated to do that, or you just saw the need? What made you want to do that?
You see the need.
Uh-huh.
You see the need and you want to. You know, you see the need.
And so another event that used to happen when I first came here in the early 70s was the Black Athlete Hall of Fame.
No, that was the thing.
And that was the last Saturday in February.
Mm-hmm.
And people dressed up and fixed up and put on lipstick and went out.
Yeah.
And did you get business from that activity?
Oh yeah, because they had to get ready. Oh yeah.
They had to get ready.
They had to get ready. Do you know anybody with a dress this weekend? I'll tell you.
So do you make referrals for people who needed other things besides their hair?
Yeah. Yes.
So do people come to you for?
Yeah, I need a dress. Well, you know, you had boosters during that time too.
Yeah, that's what I know.
Yeah,
and
so
you had to know who was doing what.
check with so and so. Maybe they can get you what you need.
Yeah. So that's where I got the impression that you were the boss lady. See, I don't know. This is, I'm telling you now.
Okay,
That's why I'm asking you these questions. I want to know you. You know, and so the Hall of Fame is going on, and people are dressing up, and people are partying and coming out, and a lot of business and trade is going on. What on Mount Vernon, from what to what would you say this activity?
Ooh.
I'm gonna get to
Well, you remember, let's see, they had, where that church is there at 17th Street, I think there was a club in that little church area. That may have been before I moved to Mount Vernon. May have been it may have been there already and gone. But I guess from 16th Street on down to probably.
Did it go to Baseline?
Yeah.
Went to Baseline and a little further down?
Yeah.
Do you remember the beauty shops on Medical Center south of Baseline? I think it was one down there.
Yeah, the House of Beauty there.
Yeah.
Right next to Garrett's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were down there on the other side, but you so you went with the group that moved further. Well, when they first
then
came,
you had my lady Chris. She was on Mount Vernon.
she was on. So that's as far as blacks were at one time before they moved further west. You know, New Hope and St. Paul and all that came later on the other side of Medical Center. I don't know if you know Muscat, but before they weren't living that far, the early stage.
Well, you see, no, you mean black residents?
Yes, residents.
Oh no, they had all that there in what's that? Well, we called Muscat.
Yeah.
And what's that street? 16th. Well, back from 16th Street. Magnolia. All that was owned by blacks. All that was owned by blacks.
Those houses all back there. Now the guy, Mulligan, you know, by the hospital, community hospital.
Gilbert and all that.
Did you know Mr. Mulligan?
I didn't know Mr. Mulligan.
You did?
I did not.
He's an attorney, and his people own a lot of that property. I'm gonna interview him too. He's a white guy, but he knows the early comings of the blacks who moved in those out on 20th Street.
On 20th Street, but those on west of Medical Center and Magnolia, I think Mr. Townsend's ex father-in-law,
Mr. Humphrey.
Mr. Humphrey, all of those people bought those houses when they were new, I thought.
Yeah, and they probably did, but this was a group, I guess. Further,
down.
And smaller homes.
Right.
They weren't as big as these homes on 16th Street, where Claude Diggs and all of them live in those big homes. John Johnson. Were they living there at that time, during the time we're speaking of now, when Jerry was popping?
Yeah. Diggs and all those, I think, were living on 16th Street then.
No, so who were some of the players, the main players in, because I know drugs wasn't nearly, if they were, I don't think so at all. But I'm talking about the clothing, or the girls,
there was,
you want to get the gambling.
there was Sidney Stevens, which was probably the most popular player.
Was he a black guy?
Yes.
Okay. And was he a pimp, or was he was, so he had girls? And what kind of guy was he?
Clean as a whistle. Clean as a whistle.
Clean as a
Sidney
whistle.
was so pretty. I mean, he had these. We all have flaws, but he was so sharp.
He was.
Ooh,
And he dressed nice.
Ooh.
How did he treat the women?
Well, I can only say what I saw.
And what you know?
Yeah. You know, I mean, yeah, I guess you had to go into your pimp mode every now and then. But he was, to me, he was just, you know, check on his girls and going about his business.
Now, did they come into Jerry's?
Yeah.
Well, did they come into Jerry's to make money, relax, or meet new customers?
Well, I think they did, but sometimes they would. I think some of the, I guess if you maybe wasn't the favorites they would kind of push them aside.
They did. So
And that was probably after Sidney had died, because he was killed there.
This guy you talking about was killed.
Was killed there.
What was he killed for? Do you remember?
What I understand, that he was killed because he had another lady that was out in the streets had approached him. She wanted to become part of his stable, and the man that she had belonged to didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
And he shot him and killed him.
Oh, boy, right. Now, how about gambling? Were people gambling?
Yeah.
And who was making money, or who was controlling that? Because it had to be a bank.
Well,
do you know?
Let's see. They would go. I think there was an area right over there by Ragman. That's who I was talking about. Ragman. Yeah. I think either at Ragman's or next door, somewhere in there. That's where they had a little gambling thing going. That's what I understand. I never would go because I don't gamble.
Okay. Was the Elks. Down
Those
the
places,
street.
yeah. That was on, there was down the street.
They were.
Yeah, and then there was one further down across 5th Street, but I think they bought that place there at, is that 10th, 11th Street?
Yeah, somewhere in
in
there. And so was that a popular place, or just a clubby type?
Yeah, it was, you know.
For the public?
Yeah, they would come in there, the public would come, you know, if you were a club member, I think you would get in free, but if you were public, you'd pay $5, $10, whatever it was.
Well, did the preachers hang out over there? Did they have secret rendezvous over there?
You know what, that's something that they would come to the shop, and we would respect them, and they'd say, "Oh, that's okay, you know, just be yourself," you know. And they would get there.
Y'all try not to curse?
Yeah. You know, you try to be respectful, you
right.
know, and not talk about certain things, because that's where, you know,
right.
your mom and daddy taught you, you know, oh no, Reverend so-and-so there, so, you know, you be nice. Ain't no telling what.
But they still hung out there.
They came. They was never in a hurry to leave or anything like that. They kind of
enjoyed it.
Yeah, they seemed to enjoy it.
Were they in there witnessing, or were they in there trying to look good?
They were in there trying to look good. They had to look good.
They were trying to look good for Sunday.
Yeah.
So you were a barber and a beauty?
I was a barber originally.
Okay.
Because I knew that it's a little hard accumulating a clientele if I'm a beautician. But I'm a young woman. I looked young. I was almost 30 years old, but they didn't know it.
And pretty.
You know, I didn't know that.
Okay.
That's the one thing. I wish I knew that I.
You never knew that
I
you
never
were
knew
beautiful.
that I was an attractive woman.
You didn't? Isn't that something? Yeah. A lot of people don't say that. Well, see,
the esteem wasn't there.
Well, I think what people look at a lot of times, themselves. They're looking at their physical thing and not the attractiveness that's coming out of them.
Right.
You know, and they don't see
I didn't know that.
Other people feel it,
Yeah,
but they.
I didn't know it.
So you didn't know that.
I didn't know it.
And now.
And
Now,
so,
how about the police? I want to ask you about them. How did they treat the activities that was going on?
they were ugly at times.
They were.
They were ugly.
They didn't want it.
They were just ugly. I think that certain people just wanted control over the black community, and they were ugly at times. I remember I was at work late, and that's when I had that sports Mercedes. Me and my 2 sons was in the car, leaving the shop, going home. 2 sons. They pulled me over. I asked them what for. They said suspicion of prostitution.
Wow.
And then they looked over and said, "What's your name?" I said, "His name is John." He got to be a John. You accusing me of prostitution with my 2 sons in the car? You're kidding.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And so
They refused to let me go. I said, then you need to take me to jail. Because I'm not giving you my license if you're not going to give me a ticket.
Wow.
I'm not going. My son, "Mama, please, just give one they want so we can go home."
Don't leave us.
Well, my oldest son had license, so I told him take the car and go home.
So
Stuff like that.
So you always had what do you call it? Strength to speak up or to do things. You weren't scared. You weren't a scared person then.
I had to be halfway. I had to protect myself and my children. That's all I knew to do, is protect myself and my family.
So the father wasn't in the picture. No, and how about men?
I had some pretty cool guys.
You did?
Well, they had pretty cool guys. They had positions. I'm not gonna name,
Yeah,
but they had good positions. So that's something that my sons had to look up to. You know, these police or a lawyer or somebody that,
You knew them too.
I knew them, and
you had a relationship.
I had a relationship with
them, and your son respected.
They knew that, right?
And
so a couple of them they didn't like, but we got over that.
Did they sort of protect you? Or,
my sons? Yeah.
Not your sons, these other contacts that you had.
Yeah, well, they were sensible men. That was knowledge also. They were sensible men. And the ones that wasn't sensible that I ran into, well, it's time to go.
So you didn't have a problem getting rid of bad apples?
You have to get rid of them. You can't let them pull you. You have, and the thing that I looked at, you have children that's looking at you. How are they going to feel when they see their mama being dragged through the mud?
So you would never drag through the mud. You wouldn't allow yourself.
Not all the way down. You go through changes in relationships, but you deal with it, you think on it, you sleep on it a day or two, and then you just go on about your business.
Right.
Go on about your business. You can't make anyone do what you want to do.
Right.
You can't make them be the person. If they're not already that person, you can't turn people around.
Right.
That's their business.
So there's a quote that some bad experience or a bad thing, I'm not quoting it right, when people come out of that, it shapes them to be better. What type of experience that you had that made you a better person at the end of the low point that you can talk about?
I can't think of a experience. I think it was a lot of small experiences. Your association that you see that they're toxic, and you're like, okay, and they think I'm cool, and you don't want to just tear them down. How to get out of that relationship, how to come away and be a person of your own, and that's what I had to learn how to do. I've had many relationships. That I thought that even a friendship that I thought was good. But after a while, I find that I need to move.
Okay.
I had to move out of it and still smile at them and go about my business.
And not get hurt in the process.
And not hurting you
and not
hurting me.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were able.
Have to, yeah.
How do you learn that? until you?
Because you don't want to be there. I don't want to be that. I didn't want to, I like you, but I don't want to be that. I don't want to be like you. I want to be who I am. And I have to move out of certain relationships, out of certain patterns to be who I am. I don't want to be like that. I like you. I think you're a fine person, but I don't want to be that.
So did you ever join any of the community-based organization that was going on at the time? Were you a joiner?
No.
You were not a joiner?
No. I support you and do all
you bought ads for the...
donations and everything. Can you do this for me, Artelea? Yeah, I'll do it. But I wasn't a joiner.
You wasn't the president of none of those organizations. Now, why? Or do you...
I just felt... I felt like I was limited on ideas, so I didn't want to stumble anyone, and that was a shortcoming that I had. I don't know, and maybe I should have felt a little better about myself because people would come to me.
So you didn't. That's two ways you're telling me. First of all, you didn't know how beautiful you were.
I did.
Now you didn't know how didn't think you have the competency to do it.
I didn't think I had
That's
the
what I'm saying.
competency.
And both was wrong, by the way.
I
but
guess.
Just how you live. So how were you able to excel with that type of inner? Because I know you don't feel that with Jehovah now. You don't act like it. So how you were able to survive that?
I never thought of that, but I guess the will to survive. I think we all have the will to survive, and we survive the best we can with what we think we have without putting pressure on anyone else. But we all, I think, have the will to survive, and that's what I think that I saw even as a little girl when Daddy said, when I said, Daddy, I want some shoes. He said, baby, I don't have the money. So what do? You do without. But then I said, okay, there's no one that'll make you happy, you have to make yourself happy. You can't wait for someone else to make you happy. And so I just do me.
Okay. So who in this group of people out there that influence you the most and help you the most that you could point to and raise their name up?
Wanda Wells was one.
Wanda Wells?
Yeah, was one of the people that no matter what you do, if he didn't like what you were doing, he'd tell you need to stop that.
He would?
Oh.
Wanda Wells?
Wanda Wells is one of the straightforwardest people I've ever met in my life. Him and his family
what's his sister's name?
Claire Faye.
Claire Faye. That's Claire Faye's brother.
That's his Wanda's sister.
Sister.
The gentleman that I'm talking about, he's one of the most straightforwardest persons you can ever meet.
And Mrs. Wells, Mother Wells, was a member of Temple for years.
Right.
Jewel Wells.
Right. That was here
the other day. So they come out of that family. But I never heard this about Wanda.
No,
Wells,
Wanda.
The upholstery man.
Yeah.
Crystal uncle. Something like that. Yeah.
That's right.
So Wanda Wells.
And
I wouldn't expect that name.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Who else?
Oh, yeah. Mr. Townsend.
Okay.
Was a wonderful person. Chris Joyner, because when I moved, she was a hairdresser. When I moved out on my own, she did every little thing she could to help me.
She did?
Yeah.
She was a beautician too?
She was a beautician too.
And
but she wasn't afraid to help another beautician.
She wasn't? She enjoyed it?
She gave me things, here, Artelea, here.
And what made her, was she like that in general, or was she attracted to what you were about?
I think she was like that in general. She was the kind of woman, she wasn't afraid to help another beautician. And that's something I learned. When a young woman leave that shop, help them. Give them good advice. Give them a little package to go with.
So you didn't try to hold them down?
No. Why?
Mm-hmm.
It makes for a bad relationship.
What did you think that they were going to steal your customers?
And a lot of them did.
They did.
That's okay. That's okay. What I learned, you a hairdresser, she's a hairdresser, and I'm a hairdresser. You're not going to do everybody.
You can't do it.
You can't do everybody. You can't do everybody. So,
and that was an attitude that you had.
Yeah.
So, what advice do you give young people now about business? And what are some of the things that's important to stay in business and be able to support yourself when you get our age? That's what I'm talking about, because a lot of people make it in the young.
I know.
Prostitutes make money. They don't have it
a
now.
dime when they.
I'm interviewing a lady now who was a prostitute. She's so beat up and she's homeless and she got 65, got a lot of regret and a lot of things going on. And I know I can't wait to ask her what could she have done differently. So what could you say to people?
And I tell anybody that come to that shop, if you make $1, save a dime of it, and don't let your children, your husband, anybody know about that savings, because you might have to help them. You know, when I was coming up, I heard old people say, if you have property, you'll be all right. And for some reason or other, every opportunity that I had to get a piece of property, I would do it. And that's one of the things that saved me, and I made a lot of money. But I didn't have any idea what to do with it. I was making so much money. When you have $10,000, $15,000 in a checking account,
wow,
that's stupid. That's stupid. In a checking account?
Checking account.
In a checking account. It would be at least $10,000 in my checking account.
Wow.
So I didn't know that I could pull that money and put it in a savings.
Right.
Just automatically come out every month. And then finally I met a young man that showed me how to do that. And I started saving, it just coming automatically out of my business account. I kept a personal account and I kept a business account. You keep those things separate. You keep them separate. You treat it like a business. Count your money so you know what you're worth. And don't work out of your pocket.
Don't work out.
If they don't take my check, my business check, I don't do business with you. I don't do business because that's how I keep things going. But you have to treat it, and the business that you go in, it's good if you like it. And you go into business with the thing that you know most about. If you know more about this thing than all the other things, then that's the business you go into. But save some money. I don't care what you do. I spent money.
Yes. So you think you lost and wasted money by not knowing how to manage it?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I wasted a lot of money.
And what did you waste it on? You kind of
kids, at the shop. I'd buy food every Saturday for everybody and.
In the shop?
Yeah, yeah. We have fun there. I had fun.
You had fun. So although you look at it and say, I could have done it better.
I could have did better.
But you still enjoyed yourself.
I enjoyed myself and I'm all right.
And you still all right.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
You can't beat that.
I'm all right. I could have had more money, but I'm all right.
Right.
I'm all right.
So you had sense enough not to blow everything. And you probably could. Do you think the money was going to continue to come when you were younger?
You know what? Do you remember Don Townsend?
Yes.
One thing, Don would talk,
Don would talk.
Yeah, he looked at me, he was in my chair and I was cutting his hair. He said, you all right now? He said, but there's going to come a time when it won't be like this.
He did?
Yeah.
You're going to be older?
Yeah.
That's what he thought?
This is not going to happen. And that's what we have to consider. What's going to happen to you when you get old?
Right.
What's going to happen to you when you get old?
That's right.
You need to start thinking about it. And Don, I will never forget what he said. In other words, see, I was at my peak during that time.
And he told
people was everywhere in that shop, waiting to get in these chairs. He said, you're on the high side now. But it's not going to be like this always.
Why did he say that? He just knew life was like that, huh?
Yeah. And I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
See, sometimes you think people being mean,
yeah,
but they telling you something.
You didn't think he was trying to put you down?
No. I don't
scare
think.
You.
No, I don't think. But then maybe it's being afraid is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, being afraid, and he did scare me. You know, you're right. I'm going to be an old woman. If I live, I'm going to be an old woman.
Right.
You know?
And you still got to take care of yourself.
You got to take care of yourself. I am so fortunate. I don't have anybody living with me. My children taking care of themselves, doing an excellent job of taking care of themselves. And I'm living in my house by myself.
How long you been there?
In that house?
In that house.
25 years.
You've been
over,
in that
over.
house. So did you buy from Clyde?
I bought it. That house had to sit there for 2 years.
And it was a Clyde Alexander house.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it sat there for 2 years.
2 years. Someone had bought it, I think, when he built it. And then they lived there for about 6 years. And it sit there for 2 years. I bought it in 80. I moved in the first part of 89.
Was that your first house? Oh, that wasn't even your first house.
No. I had so many houses.
You were buying houses.
I've been buying houses since I was 24 years old.
Property.
Mm-hmm.
How many women do you know like you who
know
that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you tell them?
If we get into conversation, I tell them.
But you don't try to impose your...
No. If you want to know, I'll tell you. But no, I've been buying, because they had all kind of programs way back then. On Porter Street, $25 down for a little 3-bedroom house. You know?
You bought it.
And I bought it. Now, back then, you were silly and you run off and leave it. $40-something a month, you leave it. But one thing I knew, it was cheaper buying a house than it is to rent.
You knew that.
I knew that.
And the ownership of it.
Yeah, the ownership, you're not paying as much. You might have to do some things around there, keep it up. But, you know, I bought it, after I left there, I went to Rialto. I bought a house. But that was a bad situation. I won't go through that. So I left there.
Were you taking your family with you to this place?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just to buy and rent, it was buy to live.
Buy to live. But then I got in a situation when my baby son went to school. He left and went to college. He says, I was on Colorado. He said, Mom, I want you to move from here, you know, because that's when they were shooting and everything. He said, I want you to, he said, I want you to move. And then, you know, I'd walk every morning. I saw the house that I'm in now. I said, well, okay, I should be able to get that for a pretty good deal. I got it for a pretty good deal. I got it for a good deal. When it's sitting there a long time, you know somebody will make a deal with you.
So you still, if I understand correctly, have land and houses now that you don't live in.
Right. I have one that I don't live in now. I had 3 houses that I was renting for a while. Yeah. With the one that I moved out of on Colorado, I sold that one. And then I had one out in Valley Truck Farm, and I sold that one. So because they just got to be too much for me.
Right.
And let me tell you this. I met a gentleman that told me the value of credit. And I learned that credit is your best friend, especially if you're a single woman.
You're right.
You don't have to ask anybody for anything. And I try to tell people that come into the shop, if you're not paying taxes, you're crazy, because now you have to put it in your mama's name. If you want anything, you're making all this money, you have to put it in your mama's name. When your mama died, now your stuff is going to be split between your sisters and your brothers. Pay your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Pay your taxes and build you some credit. Out of all those houses, I never was late on one house payment. Wow. Never. And I struggled with them.
And raise your family.
And raise my family. But I sold 2 of them and used that to put into me a retirement account, you know. And I rent the other 2. I have a piece of property and a house that I'm getting ready to try to unload that and just.
And just retire and
Yeah,
use some of the monies that you have. What do you do for fun and recreation now? You're not on Mount Vernon, and you're not into the nightlife like you knew it. So what do you do now? How do you
I
get
get
fun?
up Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I go to the pool to exercise.
Uh-huh.
On Tuesdays, I go out in service and do my service to Jehovah. On Thursdays, I work all day in the shop. And now, sometimes I come in the afternoons on those other days. But, and then Saturday, I'm back up out in service. And in the afternoon on Saturday, the friends might be giving little parties or luncheons and things like that. I go to them, and then we play cards and things, and we take trips. We take trips. We go when I say the need is great, where our preaching is very seldom done. So we go to those areas and we have a good time.
So we're almost at the hour, but I want to ask you a few questions about the organizational structure of Jehovah Witnesses. We talked about it before. One of the things I know you do is knock on doors. Another thing I know you do is stand in front of supermarkets with your stuff like this.
That's right.
I know you do that. How is that organized and categorized, and how do you keep that? How do you know that you're successful?
We're successful because we keep records of everything we do. We keep records of the books that of the literature that we place. We keep records of the hours that we serve when we're out in service. We keep it's a record keeping organization. So I report every month the hours that I've done, the books that I've placed with people, the Bible studies that I've studied with, and that's how we know how the organization is growing.
And everybody's doing that.
Everybody's doing it.
And now, how much do you pay for these books?
We don't pay anything. You don't pay anything. But I donate. I do know that the organization needs funding.
Right.
But we don't ask anything from you.
No.
Because the scriptures also tell us God's word is free. You can get Bibles, and the most progressive thing that's going on now is jw.org.
Yeah.
You can get any information on that you want to.
And
you can
download.
get Bibles in I think 8 different languages. You can get 8 different Bibles and probably hundreds of different languages.
Wow.
On that website. Free. God's word is free.
So
You receive freely, you give freely. And we do what the Bible says.
So when you build a hall, that's what you call it. You don't call it a church. It's the Kingdom Hall.
Kingdom Hall.
So you build that. Now, how is that done? I mean, collectively.
Collectively, all the labor is free.
The roof.
Only thing, everything we do, everything is free. Those brothers get out there and build on their own time. No one is paid.
And
we have to pay for the material.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, we have to pay for the material, but every piece of labor is free.
It's free. And suppose you can't do anything. And
That's okay.
You don't know no trade. You don't do anything.
That's okay. You can sit out there and pass spoons out because we have we fix
what
lunch. Spoons. We fix lunch for those people that are coming out.
Right.
We do free. We the different sisters and brothers will say, okay, certain group fix a lunch, certain group fix a breakfast. We bring it in there. So if you can't do anything, if you're old and can't do anything, give them a fork and a knife and a napkin. Get your plate and go.
And then
everybody can do something.
And then they help clean out.
We help clean. There's no one, every night when we leave that hall, there's a certain group of people that clean the hall before we leave.
Before you leave.
Before we
so
leave.
when the next group
come in,
it's
clean.
Now, who is instructing people to do that?
Jehovah.
Well, Jehovah.
Jehovah, we go to the Bible.
I know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can say, well, the map got me here, or the GPS, but somebody had to drive it, and someone has to put gas in the car. Who's doing this part of it?
There's brothers in headquarters in New York City.
Okay.
They get together. There's certain committees
Okay.
that handle certain things. There's a committee that studies the Bible and gives you the information that in our watchtowers and things like that. There's a committee that because a certain area has not been preached in, there's a committee that takes care of that. There's committees.
Okay.
There's different committees, and it comes down to us.
Well, and so you just kind of know where you fit in, and you get in there on your own. Nobody. I'm trying to get a handle on this organization part of it. How do you know? Today is today, and you say you do something on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, you do what you want to do. You don't have to do anything. But through the preaching work, we know that we need to help people come into the organization. We need to help people that Jesus talked about the skin and the people that are just gone astray. We need to know. We need to help those people. So this is what this organization is all about. So if you feel like going out in the preaching work, brother, where can I go to help? What can I do?
So
and everyone.
To become natural then, and for those that want to.
Everyone, though, no matter what position you have, go out in the preaching work. I don't care who you
Everybody's
are.
doing
Everybody. That. There is nobody, because that's what Jesus did.
So it's nobody who stand in the hall while y'all go out and knock on doors.
You come too.
They going to. One of the questions that I got, and Flo wanted to know the answer to this, is blood transfusion for Jehovah's Witness, the position on that.
We do not take the blood. Now, if you go on jw.org, there are several videos of how the doctors and other doctors are coming to know this and understand it too. The position on blood, it'll give you everything you need to know. Why? And doctors are finding out that a person is better off when they do not have blood transfusion. They heal much quicker.
What is blood transfusion? I'm not sure.
That blood that you get from somebody, drawn from somebody.
So if I have an accident and I need blood, is that blood transfusion?
Yeah.
And so don't take it. And you better.
Because the Bible says, sustain from blood. From fornication and from blood. Because
you put fornication and blood at the same place?
Well, these are the two things.
Okay.
These are the two things
that you stay away from.
Right. Because who gives life? That's right. He alone has the right to give life.
And he takes the life.
That's right.
So
and life is in the blood.
So that's is that a doctrine from the Word, not from somebody came up with it?
That's from the Bible.
And y'all, as much as you can, because nobody's perfect, you try to follow it.
That's right.
So on a scale of 0 being the worst, 10 being the best, how would you rate yourself as a witness?
I would say in the middle or
5
or above. Just like you said, we all fall short of the glory, you know. And I'm doing the best I can. I'm always, and the Bible also lets us know that you're not perfect.
Right.
You know, even when we look at Peter, you know, Jesus knew that he was gonna fall 3 times, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he denied him. you know, but he forgave him.
Joe did.
He forgave him, and Peter became one of his best.
He said, "Go tell
apostles.
Peter."
That's right.
Go tell
you see,
Peter.
so
Yeah.
that's part of that.
Okay.
You know.
So
No one is the best.
okay.
No one is the best. See, 10 is talking about being perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you wouldn't think do you have any brothers or sisters who are in the organization that you would rate 9? Or
Yes,
8?
I do. I do. I see some of those sisters and brothers there are.
Their lifestyle proves it.
Oh, they lifestyle, the way they talk to people, you know, and the way they do for people. I wouldn't call them a 9. I call them a 7 or 8 because I mean,
They
how you
still
gonna put
got-
somebody up there?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, when I slammed the door in your face
Mhm.
and said, "Don't ever come back here knocking on my
Mhm.
door," how does that make you feel?
It's not. You're not. It's not me personally that you're.
But that's what I'm talking to.
No, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I understand that it's you don't know me to
It ain't
slam,
you.
know
Oh.
to her. That's against Jehovah God.
Uh-huh.
It's not me that you're slamming the door in. What did Jesus say? When you walked in, and if they don't agree, shake the dust off your feet and leave. You know, shake the dust off.
But
And
how
go
long
about
it
your-
take you to feel it? Because so many people,
You-
my wife don't even want you to tell her no if,
Mhm.
for anything. She can't stand a no.
You have to accept it. And if you say, you see that word when you said, I said, don't come back to my door.
Right.
We have a ledger there. Do not return.
You do?
We have a thing on there that says, do not return. And
And
we
so
won't
it-
come back to your door unless it's a few years from
Yeah.
now. Maybe someone else is in that house. So maybe we'll knock on the door to see.
Still try.
Yeah, still
Still
try.
try.
Mm-hmm.
Because I heard a tape this morning and this guy was praying and he said, we are all ex something.
Mm-hmm.
We all, this is what he's trying to remind you of that church out there, Abundant Life.
Mm-hmm.
I got a tape to hear what he was saying. He said we're all ex something.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of ex people out there. I thought it was really good the way he was saying it. And they want to know.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to go and tell them. So I guess the Jehovah Witness got that down. I don't know how good the Mormons are, and we're going to interview some of them too. But they do that, you know, the younger kids. But I don't see.
But they do it for 2 years. That's
Yeah.
for a degree.
And y'all do it all the
Ever.
time.
And forever.
As
The
long
only
as
reason you
can.
don't do it is because you can't.
You can't do
You
it.
can't crawl out your bed. You can't get out your bed. I've known some of them sisters that they get help to go to the mall and sit there with their 90 years old. They do not
Pass 'em
stop.
out the literature.
Because, but also the scripture says, the end, and you might be saved. To the end of your life. There's no such thing as retirement.
There's no
No such thing.
So you
No
were
such-
in it for the rest
For
of
the
your
long
life.
haul.
Did you know that when you came in that
Yes.
you would know? Did you know you would be in it for the forever,
Yeah.
for the long haul?
Yeah.
You knew it.
Now some people draw back
Yeah.
and they just get tired for whatever reason or get disheartened, but that's not what the Bible says. You know, to the end, to the end.
To the end and keep going.
That's
don't-
right.
So, but what do you want to say to me? I didn't cover it for some reason or another, but you want to say something, and you're talking to 50 years from now.
50 years from
Or
now.
anytime, you know, but you're saying it, and it's going to be recorded and archived.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to say?
Oh, gee, I just like to say that I hope that we learn. You know, this is what I like to say. Whether people believe in the Bible or not, but I think that it's a mankind saving book. You know, a lot of people don't believe
for
in
the
God
universe.
for the whole mankind on the earth. If we care about each other, start looking out for one another, you know, we can. Mankind can be almost fixed, but we have to. That Bible is what's going to save us. We have to care about each other.
But why does people, this probably is my last question, some people really speak down on Jehovah Witnesses. They say you're not even going to be saved.
Well, that's okay. They don't know the Bible. That's what I say. They don't know the Bible.
They don't know
you
the Bible.
need to study the Bible.
Okay.
Are you doing what Jesus said to do?
And that's the proof.
That's the proof. You got to do what
Are
Jesus
you
said.
talking about people, you're getting fornication, you're doing all these
That's
things?
right.
It's not.
I'm not judging. I don't judge. But I say, if you a follower of Jesus Christ, then you need to know what He tell you to do.
And do it.
And do it.
And do you find that for most people
It's
outside
hard.
of the Jehovah Witnesses, do you find that these people, the people who are Baptists or Methodists or something else, do you think they follow the Bible? Or
Do
how
they
do
go
you
out and
look
knock
at
on
them?
doors?
Huh?
Do they go out and knock on doors?
See, you asked me questions. I'm supposed to be doing the interview.
but that is self-explanatory.
Okay.
What do they do?
Right.
What did Jesus have you to do?
And are you doing it?
And are you doing it?
And if they are, then they all right. If they ain't,
Yeah. And are you saying that only Jehovah's Witnesses going to heaven? I said, I don't think I'm going to heaven. I don't think I'm going to heaven. Because He made a paradise here on earth.
right.
And it's going to happen
Right here on earth.
right here on earth.
So that's
You
what
see, she need to study the Bible. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really so happy to talk to her. I talk to her about once a month for my haircut, and always asking her questions. And I know she know a lot about. I call this the underworld and the top world. So you come in with wealth, and I'm gonna review this. And we're going to look at it. And I may write down some real other questions that didn't fill the gap right here. And I hope you'll be willing to
come back. I sure
come
will.
back.
I sure will.
But I want to say, tell you how much I thank you for this interview. And I hope that people gain not only knowledge, but practical application to their lives for what you have said today.
I hope so.
Thank you so much.